So I'm pretty certain that a majority of the people watching my videos have beaten Undertale at some point. I mean, actually completing the game isn't that big of a challenge depending on the run you take. But that's mainly because you as the human are unable to permanently die, and you always know that if you go down, you can always just get back up again. But what if that wasn't the case? What if, dear viewer, it was you from the game of real life who entered the underground instead of Frisk or Kara, or whoever it is? Now, you may be saying, Koos, that doesn't seem like that much of a challenge. If a literal 10-year-old can get through the underground, then so can I. Well, dear viewer, you are probably not going to be the one holding the soul of determination. I honestly don't know what kind of soul you'd have, but I don't think the average person would have determination as their power. So, unlike Frisk, you can only come back a few times. Let's say 3 for convenience. And I will go out on a limb here and say that none of you guys want to know what death feels like. You also aren't going to get some battle screen that gives you the specific options to spare an opponent, so the actions needed to convince an enemy to stop fighting are potentially limitless. With those stakes, ladies and gentlemen, the task seems much harder, but to help you guys out in case you guys find yourself trapped in the underground in real life, I decided to make this walkthrough. This is only going to be a walkthrough on how to do a neutral run, and if you want to see a true pacifist run or a genocide run, I'd honestly need to figure those ones out, but I'll get to them if you guys want. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you gotta do to survive in Undertale is, well, survive the fall from the top of a goddamn mountain into the deep depths of the underground floor with nothing more than a bed of flowers to break your fall. I mean, if 7 to 8 humans could survive it, so can you. And if you can't, that's a pretty big skill issue. Anyways, as you leave the area, you'll be stopped by your first obstacle, Mr. Flowey G Flower. Now, we all know that Flowey was able to reset before Frisk showed up on account of being the most determined person in the underground, but it was also implied by Toriel that the other humans could reset and come back as well, just a limited number of times. So the question remains, would you be more determined than the soulless houseplant that has reset the world hundreds of thousands of times? I'm gonna say yes. So what you're gonna do in order to get past Flowey is really quite simple, but you have to be as serious as possible. You gotta be like, yeah, I don't really have an analogy on how serious you have to be. You just gotta be really serious. But anyways, when he's talking, all you gotta say is, wait, if you're Flowey the Flower, then who's that? And point behind him. This will cause him to turn around, allowing you to run up really quickly and pluck him out of the ground. I recommend stuffing him in your pocket if he doesn't die. Anyways, after you take care of the flower problem, that means no Omega Flowey, meaning that you don't have to experience death dozens of times. Yay! Anyways, you meet Toriel and go through the whole shebang, talking to the dummy, her going off to grab groceries, and leaving you alone. From here, you just go through the ruins like in a normal playthrough, as the enemies here aren't that big of a threat, and leaving them alone or just being nice to them usually does the trick. Now, there is the issue of the flower puzzle, because falling in that hole does seem pretty deep and could probably hurt you, so just ask a monster around to guide you through it, and that should just do the trick. Now, you probably aren't a dodging master who never gets tired like Frisk, but if you talk to them fast enough, you should be fine. And if that doesn't work, just beat the crap out of them. Knowing the power gap between humans and monsters, you should be okay. Anyways, as you reach Napstablook, you can just jump over him and skip his fight altogether, so he's a cakewalk. Anyways, when you reach Toriel's house, go down to the basement and see her about to destroy the doors out of the ruins. Now, you could think that this is it. There's no way you can muscle through that large, fire-shooting goat lady before she burns you to a crisp. Not to mention that she can actually accidentally kill you. But what if I told you there was a way to end the fight before you even start it? All you need to do is use a little bit of emotional manipulation. She states earlier how she's seen quite a large number of humans leave and die at the hands of Asgore, so all you gotta do is simply ask her to come with you. Just say that if she's there to keep you safe, then you'll be fine. Now if you get some pushback from her, just say that she'd let many more kids before you walk to their deaths and to not make the same mistake with you. If you're emotional enough, she should agree. If you want to argue that she wouldn't join you, she ends up following you and saving you from Asgore in the true pacifist route, so it's clear she can leave if she wants to. So congratulations, your mom joined the party. Anyways, Toriel is a game changer, as her iconic Toriel glare should keep most enemies away. Not to mention, her fire can keep you warm in the cold environment of Snowden. Anyways, all of Snowden should be a cakewalk, and even if Toriel is in the party, I'd recommend doing Papyrus's puzzles as they are amusing. Anyways, while you're in Snowden, you'll need someone else to join your little group, and the perfect companion would be the Greater Dog. Loyal, sweet, and can be offered a stick to be your best friend. Simply invite him to join your party with the promise of love and you should be solid. You might be wondering, why would you add a random dog to the party? Well, you'll see later. Anyways, with Toriel's presence, Papyrus's fight might not even happen, but you should probably reassure her you can battle Papyrus yourself, as you'll need him for later. Now, if you don't want to risk hurting yourself, you can use the Greater Dog as a way of countering Papyrus's attacks, because dog types are super effective against bone types. Look it up. Become best friends with Papyrus and ask him to tag along with you. By doing this, Undyne shouldn't be an issue, as with the inclusion of Toriel and the dog, Undyne should back off, because I don't think she'd want to hurt other monsters. Not to mention, she knows who Toriel is. She knows her relationship with Asgore, and I don't think she'd want to attack her. Anyways, there is a chance that Undyne might and try to eventually attack you, and you could probably win with a team effort, but I'm not sure if Papyrus and the dog will fight, considering the fact that she's their boss, and Toriel probably would also try to find a peaceful solution as well, so instead of fighting, wait for Undyne to do that attack where she tries to jump on top of you, and all you gotta do is just sidestep. Then what you gotta do is climb on Toriel or Papyrus's back and run. You might be able to outrun her due to Toriel's quick speed and Papyrus's ability to defy the laws of physics. Once you hit Hotland, pour the water on her and agree to hang out. Leave Toriel and the dog outside, let the house catch fire, pretend to punch her, and then become friends. Also, ask her to join you on your quest and she'd probably say yes. She arrives in the true pacifist route to try and stop Asgore from killing you after all. Anyways, there is a bit of a problem getting Undyne through Hotland since she's a fish, but there's an easy solution. Simply get the jug of water and have one of your party members carry it around to splash her with. Or even better, cram it on her head for the most effective use. Anyways, make it to Alphys's lab, do Metaton's ridiculous quiz. I know the others would intervene, but there's nothing they can do against Metaton's defenses. Get Alphys on your phone and continue forward. While on your way, grab a Vulcan to join your team. No specific reason, I just like Vulcan. Keep going through and complete all of Metaton's puzzles. Besides a sorta high fall, a few baking ingredients in your hair, and a close call with fire, you should be okay. Muffet won't be too much of an issue if you just eat a spider donut in front of her. The biggest obstacle there is actually stomaching one of those disgusting donuts. And if you didn't buy any donuts, you got friends to back you up. Anyways, make your way to MTT Resort and have a very large dinner with Sans. Actually, with Toriel there, I have no idea what the conversation would be about. Maybe it's just gonna be a bunch of puns for an hour. Anyways, go through the core and have your buddies either fight or convince the mercenaries to stand down. And finally, you have to face off against Metaton. Now, you might be wondering how you're gonna get through this battle unscathed since it's just a bunch of lasers, legs, and explosions. Well, you know how Metaton wants high ratings? Well, the team you've been building up this entire time can guarantee them. Beautiful women? Check. Cute animals? Check. Papyrus? Check. Instant win. Anyways, keep moving towards Asgore's palace. Sans won't try to stop you since you've done literally nothing wrong, and keep moving until you reach Asgore's throne room. Now the question arises, will there be a fight? Probably not. Toriel stopped it in the true pacifist route, and she'd probably stop it here. You reach the barrier and are told that it requires one human and one monster soul to pass the barrier. So you know how you added a Vulcan to your group? Well, I'm just kidding. But seriously, someone's gotta sacrifice themselves for you. Regardless of who it is, you've escaped, generally uninjured and lacking any feelings of death. Or you could sacrifice yourself to free all the monsters, your call, but in my opinion, that's dumb. Anyways, this was a really stupid but fun video to make, and thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.